All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? Friday Witching Hour show here, brought to you by SHIPIT Nation. I got my boy Hamwich with me like every Monday and Friday here. Excited to break it down. We got a doozy on tap, and we got 13 games. And for a 13-game slate, pitching's pretty gross. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's two guys that are pretty much going to be the chalk pairing. They're both come from the same game. Many other guys that are going to pick up some ownership, historically pretty weak pitchers overall, but do draw good matchups on the slate, and just the nature of the pitching slate we got on Hap. So it should be a pretty good slate to break down here. We're going to do our best to sift through the noise and find you the winners here, the shippers, if you will. Hamwich, happy Friday, brother. How was your week? How's everything going? Wasn't here last week. You filled in for me, so I appreciate that. But we're back here, man. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, good week, and about to be the weekend. Obviously got a big weekend for us over here. We got two of our dudes over here in the FGWC rocking and rolling it out. Hopefully they can rise up the leaderboards. I saw they were pretty far down earlier today, but hopefully they can rise up. Then, should be a good weekend, exciting weekend to say the least.
Yeah, exciting weekend, and you mentioned it, Fantasy Golf World Championship. Competing for $1 million, our guy Hoop and Tambo. Some others probably in the chat, some other members as well in that contest. $1 million for first. Hey, it's golf. You got to make it to the weekend. Hopefully they make it through. Hopefully they get their cut. But nonetheless, still been an incredible season over here at PGA. And I hate to say season because the season's still going. We got some majors coming up here in about, 3 weeks or so. Coming up, and go ahead and use that promo code FGWC15 in honor of the World Golf Championship going on this weekend, and get all the access to all of our premium sports, which we offer over here at SHIPIT Nation for 15% off any monthly or annual package. Best rate in the industry. All things you need to have success with DFS. The screenshots on Twitter, the Discord, everything speaks for itself over there. So use that promo code. Last chance to use that promo code and save a little bit more off the already super reasonably priced rate that we offer over here. How much? No more bullshitting off the top here. We're going to cut to the chase. Obviously, we got 13 games. We don't want to sit here and spew a bunch of nonsense, and just want to get right to the winners. That's what people came here for. So we're going to jump in. We're going to talk pitchers. We're going to go 8K and above like we always do here. Two guys, I'm going to throw out two names and only two names up here realistically for you. Number one, Logan Gilbert. Number two, Bailey Ober. Games in Seattle there. Great pitchers ballpark like we know. Two great matchups for strikeouts that we typically pick on. That's definitely the chalk pairing on the slate. Two very reasonably priced pitchers, right? 9.9 for Gilbert, the highest priced pitcher on the slate. And then Bailey Ober down at 8,800 against a Mariners team who strikes out a ton. Twins, right? We've had our fair share of trying to pick on the Twins going south for us here, but that's kind of the slate right now. Those two guys, I'm going to throw out a couple other guys for you. Charlie Morton at home against the Pirates, I think picks up a decent amount of ownership. And then all these other guys in here, I'd look as kind of GPP pivots, if you will. Nothing really getting a ton of ownership. More of the ownership kind of focuses down in the lower tier. So realistically, maybe Logan Webb picks up a little bit there, but again, pretty tough matchup there, despite the ballpark that he pitches in. Still the Dodgers, right? Dodgers can hit it out anywhere, especially on the back of Ohtani. So overall, pretty weak pitching slates. Definitely hit on Gilbert, definitely hit on Ober, and then definitely hit on Charlie Morton. Anyone else up here that you have interest in as well?
Yeah, you said it. This pitching slate, it's kind of gross when you're looking at these names and who they're going up against. Let's just start at the top. I mean, Logan Gilbert, you get him at home, but this Twins team has been hitting the ball pretty good. I mean, Gilbert's been very good all season long. I'm going to be lower on Gilbert than maybe most just because of the Twins offense. I think there's other areas Charlie Morton I have ahead of Logan Gilbert tonight, just picking on this Pirates team that has been pretty abysmal all season long, over the last 30 days. They did well in the Great American Small Park this week, but if you take that out and look at, more of a 30-day sample, striking out 25% of righties, Charlie Morton is up and down. And at 9,500, that's a pretty big boy price tag to pay for Charlie Morton. He's number 3 on the slate, but I do have him slightly ahead of Logan Gilbert. And then Bailey Ober is my favorite pitcher up here, Nate. It's interesting to see where you have Bailey Ober ranked, but Ober gets this Mariners matchup. Great ballpark, as you alluded to. They're striking out at 30% clip over the last 14 days. That's a pretty bad, worst in baseball against right-handed pitching. So I like Bailey Ober tonight, coming off a 40-piece against the A's last time out. I think that trend continues today. And then after that, it's pretty tough sledding. I mean, Nick Pivetta, I really like Nick Pivetta. Padres just don't strike out. Jameson Taillon coming off a 32-point performance against the Mets on the road against the Brewers. No thank you there. Ronel Blanco, at Shea Stadium taking on this Mets team that's been hot as a firecracker. So for me, it's Morton, it's Ober, and then I would say Gilbert is my third favorite pitcher up in this range.
Yeah, no, we're pretty aligned here. I get the reason for Gilbert. I like Gilbert, right? Gilbert's been elite at home. Last 30 days has about a 25% K rate, pretty even to both sides of the plate, 26 to lefties, 24 to righties. So obviously the average there is about 25%. No walks really. So, I mean, ground ball lean to lefties as well. Does struggle a bit as well with some fly balls to lefties. And these Twins do have some pretty good lefty bats. It is a terrible ballpark there, but if you want to poke holes in the most expensive pitcher, that's what I can do. Gilbert's been elite at home, 29.5% strikeout rate at home to both sides of the plate here. But you look at these Twins, man. These Twins over the course of the season on the road, just a 20% K rate, team ISO north of 150, which is pretty good, right? A little bit above average there, sitting at 171. If you had to poke holes in the chalkiest pitcher, the quote-unquote best pitcher on the slate, you can definitely make the case there for Gilbert to be underweight. My reason is more for salary. Overall, we just have not seen pitchers dust slates this year. It's been offenses, and there's a lot of offenses here that I like tonight that are high-priced that I want to spend up for. So for me, typically when I'm looking at this slate and I see kind of the pitching the way it is, granted, obviously a lot of these guys could go out, right, high-quality, real-life arms, could go out there and post a number. But for me, it's overall a spend down slate pitcher for slate, for me. So I do like Gilbert. It is a good matchup, but I do agree with you there. I put Bailey Ober at the discount, right? $1,100 salary savings there. This Seattle team at home, 29% strikeout rate. So much better, right? About almost a full 10 points higher, over the course of the season, in terms of potential strikeout rate. Ober's been great. 23.5% strikeout rate on the road this season. So for me, I think Ober has the better strikeout matchup, if you will. You save salary there. I need salary on the slate. So for me, that puts Ober ahead. And for ownership purposes, I think they're going to be pretty similar. Like I said, I think a lot of people on this slate pair them up. There's 13 offenses. You can find cheap value bats to make them both work. Like I said, I think that's the cash pairing. If you click optimize in any optimizer, obviously, we have our Shiptimizer over here. We still do have the Solver partnership as well. So you click that optimize button, Ober and Gilbert are going to filter in there. So I like both of them. Like I said, I put Ober ahead of Gilbert due to the salary, due to the higher strikeout matchup, in my opinion. And then for me, Charlie Morton, I like the matchup for Morton. Morton is scary guy to get behind. And at 9,500, right, you would just say, well, why don't you just find the $400 and get up to Gilbert in a better matchup? But realistically, the Pirates have strike out more than the Twins so over the course of the season on the road. So for me, I think Morton is solid. But realistically, like I said, I don't want to spend for two guys up here. I like the cheaper SPs on the slate, and I'm spending up for offense. So that's kind of the flag I'm planting. If I had to pick another guy up here, for me, it would probably be Nick Pivetta. The Padres team and offense has gotten going a little bit as of late here, but Pivetta overall, despite the good hitting conditions in Fenway, a lot of ownership's going to the Boston Bats. Naturally, that just means Pivetta should be pitching pretty free out there, have some run support behind him. I like that when you're targeting pitchers. There is some higher strikeout bats in this lineup on the back half, right? Kyle Higashioka, Peralta, Solano has struggles with strikeouts a little bit there. So if I had to pick a guy in tournaments that's pretty low owned, that has a decent ceiling on the slate, I think it would be Pivetta. But realistically, it's Ober number 1 for me, Gilbert number 2, Pivetta 3, and then Charlie Morton 4. But like I said, I like this next tier a lot more than a bunch of these guys up at the top tier. Not because I believe these are better pitchers. It's just the matchup and the salaries just make it work a lot better. So we're going to jump below 8K here. Going to throw out a couple names for you. Number 1, Drew Thorpe. Number 2, Frankie Montas. Probably the highest owned pitcher down here is going to be Slade Ciccone against the Oakland Athletics here. Not a great pitcher by any means, but 6,200 here. Gets a matchup against the Athletics, which typically we like picking on. So hit on those 3 guys for me in particular, and then any of these other guys that you have interest in down below 8K.
Yeah, it's an interesting group down here. I mean, you got some guys. Let's just start with Drew Thorpe. He is going to be popular. 7,300 gets the nut matchup with the Rockies. We saw what they did in Houston all week. Drew Thorpe, though, for me, I'm gonna be under on Thorpe. Just his swinging strike rate and his K rate just not where we want it to be right now. At this point in his career, obviously he has tremendous upside, but I'm going to be lower on Thorpe, especially a rookie, a chalk rookie making his second or third start. No, thank you for me on that. And one thing I want to note on Charlie Morton, just going back him, he's going to be the chalk pitcher on FanDuel. He's only 8,800 on FanDuel. I know we mainly talk DraftKings, but he'll be highly owned on FanDuel. But going back down below 8K, there's not really that I'm in love with down here. I mean, I'll say this, and it's kind of gross. There's 2 pitchers that I like. JP Sears, I'll go with JP Sears at 5,600, taking on this Diamondbacks team. Just over the last month, they just haven't been hitting left-handed pitching. So, if you're going to have a dart throw, if you want those big boy bats, it's JP Sears for me. And then my next one would be Tristan McKenzie taking on this Royals team. I know you have some interest in the Royals team, and I'm not saying play Tristan McKenzie on all your teams, but he strikes out a ton of right-handed hitters. And we know he got Salvi, you got Velasquez, you got obviously Bobby Witt. So I don't think he's the worst play in GPPs. I mean, if you're playing, 25 plus teams, I'll maybe have him on 1 or 2, but it's a rough day, Nate. It's talking pitching, and JP Sears would be, the lowest I would go, and him and McKenzie down there.
Yeah. So, we differ. We align a little bit, differ somewhat. I like Drew Thorpe. I also like the Rockies side. So it's a situation where I like both sides. The reason you want to target against Drew Thorpe is he struggles with walks, right? It has a 16 or 17% walk rate to righties here. He struggles with control. He has had great numbers in the minors. It hasn't alluded to the major league level yet. This is going to be his 4th start. He's got 2 decent starts, right? Two double-digit DraftKings starts in terms of DraftKings scoring. If he gets you 12 to 15 on the slate at 7-3, I think that's enough. I also think 2 guys below him, Montas and Ciccone, are both going to be higher owned. So paying up a little bit, $1,000 more for a matchup against the Rockies, who on the road this season just strike out in bunches, right? A 28% strikeout rate on the road. I don't mind Thorpe. Thorpe's probably my favorite guy down here, to be honest with you. I have interest in Montas. Again, I haven't been impressed with this Cardinals team. He's not an incredible pitcher by any means, but at 6,500, again, if he gets you 12 points on this slate, that's probably enough as long as the bats do their thing, and that's kind of the approach I'm taking. So for me, it's Thorpe number 1 down here, Montas number 2. Ciccone, I'm going to be a little bit underweight on Ciccone. I think he comes in the extreme chalk down here. At least that's what projections are saying. I think it comes in even higher as people start building teams and see, right, they got these high-priced offenses, right? The Royals we're going to talk about. We're going to talk, you like some of the Orioles bats, right? The expensive Orioles bats. The Red Sox are going to be mega chalk. They got some expensive lefties in there that you want to play. So I think his ownership increases. Some of these Athletics actually hit pretty well and hit for power despite the strikeouts. So I think he could struggle a little bit. And I just think if I'm punting down here, I would rather take a Dakota Hudson against the Chicago White Sox team. I know it's very gross, right? 5,300, but I think this guy right here on the other side of the screen from me talked about Dakota Hudson. The reason I have Dakota Hudson, where is Dakota Hudson terrible? At home in Coors Field. Where is he good? on the road this season. He's got a 3 ERA on the road this season, a 1.1 WHIP. That's very good for 5,300 on a slate. You want to spend up for bats. It's a very gross take. He's not a good pitcher by any means, but I do not think this White Sox offense is very strong. We've picked on it all season long. 5,300, Dakota Hudson, like I said, 10 to 12 DraftKings points at 5.3. I mean, there's multiple hitters on the slate that are more expensive than Dakota Hudson, have a higher chance to score 0 or 3 DraftKings points than Dakota Hudson does. So give me some Dakota Hudson at 5.3. It's gross. I might eat my words here, but he's going to be super low owned. It allows you to do whatever you want at bats. It gets you off the chalk guy, right? Everyone's stopping at Sassoni. You save $900 more, go all the way down. And if you give me a 1-game sample here, I'll take my chances. So I do like Dakota Hudson here. I know it's pretty gross. For me, I'm not playing JP Sears against Arizona. I just think Arizona is a quality enough offense to attack Sears. I don't think Sears is a great real-life pitcher. He struggled on the road this season as well. And for me, I don't want to pick on an offense that has a 20% strikeout rate with a below-average strikeout arm. So that's kind of the reason there. I would just rather drop the $300 down to Dakota Hudson in a better matchup, in my opinion. So that's pitching. Like I said, it's gross. You could have a totally different take. You can have some of these guys we didn't even mention, right? There's 26 arms on the slate to choose from. Overall, all I can say is summarized outside the top 2, right? The chalk pairing, the Ober, the Gilberts. It's pretty gross. So that's the reason I'm taking. I'm kind of punting and kind of throwing darts at the wall down here in the lower tier in some decent matchups overall. So that's kind of my take. Throw it over to you, Hamwich. Let's go ahead and give me your top 5 pitchers. Give the chat their top 5 pitchers here. It's pretty gross, but do your best to put it in a tier for the people here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ober 1 for me. I'm gonna go Charlie Morton 2, Logan Gilbert 3. I'll go. I mean, and then JP Sears and Tristan McKenzie would round out 4 and 5, but they're way down the list. I mean, obviously, you can play some of those other guys, but I'm really focusing on those top 3 tonight.
Yeah, no, I like that breakdown. I do want to add one guy too. The chat kind of helped me out there, and I just pulled it up a little bit. Right, Cubs on the road this season, 25% strikeout rate. That's one of the worst on the slate that we have. Colin Ray sitting a little bit below league average, right around 20% strikeout rates. But I don't mind him at 7,400 here. I think it's a great pivot off of Thorpe, who I think picks up more ownership as well. Again, I think Thorpe comes in lower owned than Montas and Sassoni. So I don't mind a Colin Ray and a Drew Thorpe. If you want to, that's one way to get different too. Pair Thorpe with Ray. Like I said, I like to spend down pitchers. So I don't mind a Colin Ray the more I look at it, right? The Cubs can't hit for shit. I don't know. I mean, it is still a major league offense. They are still above 500. They can definitely hit the baseball, but on the road, their numbers, the strikeouts are there despite the power. I don't think Ray's an incredible pitcher by any means, but overall at home, he's been decent. Averages right around 5.5, 6 innings pitched, but a 20% strikeout rate. So I don't mind Colin Ray the more I look at it there. So I'll give Jake credit in the chat. Everybody else who said that, the more I looked in and the more I see this pitching slate, I definitely think you can play some Colin Ray here against the Cubs offense. I'll go ahead and rank mine. I'm going Bailey Ober number 1, just like everybody is. I'm going to put Drew Thorpe number 2 for me. I like Thorpe. Like I said, I'm spending down. I'm going to put Dakota Hudson 3, which is pretty gross. It's just the salary. I like spending down. That's the way I'm taking. So I'll put him 3. I'll put Frankie Montas 4. And then I'm going to go and side with the chat here. I'm going to go Colin Ray 5. The more I look at it, right, the Cubs, 25% strikeout. You got 3 bats in the back half of that lineup, 30%, 34%, 30% strikeout rates. If that lineup stays true, I think he can definitely get us enough at his salary to be on the winner on the slate here tonight. That's pitching. It was pretty gross, and when you have gross pitching, you have better offense here. So we're going to jump into the offense and see what we can find here. Hamwich, before we do, if you guys are new in that chat, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. One last time, little promo here. FGWC15 is the promo code if you want 15% off any of our annual packages. Get our premium content, projections, the Stone, which we have for all sports, but the MLB Stone is the Stone Nuts. It's the one-spot shop that I use to build my teams. It's got the home road splits on there. It's got the pitcher's numbers. It's got all the batter stats that you need to look at. Use that promo code Last Chance to get you 15% off there. How much? Let's jump in. Let's talk. We're going to start with Texas and Baltimore here. Max Scherzer on the mound. Albert Suarez, 2 pitchers we didn't really talk about. Scherzer likely going to be still on that pitch count here. He was good in his first start back. Very efficient. Went 5 innings. Struck out a lot. Now he faces one of the best offenses in baseball here, the Orioles. On the back of Gunnar Henderson, Ryan O'Hearn, Mountcastle, Santander all have elite numbers at home in Camden against a right-handed pitching here. I think you're on some Orioles. The Orioles fall in a category for me. You can stack them anytime they're low-owned. That fits the build here tonight. It is a quality arm. He's going to be limited. I don't mind some O's. I like other spots more. But, again, I think there's like 13 offenses you can probably stack on this slate in GPPs just due to the nature of pitching's gross. That means a lot of offenses are in pretty good spots here. I like other spots a little bit more, but talk to me. I think you definitely like some Baltimore bats here tonight.
Yeah, to me, I mean, this is the top offense on the slate without question. You see Max Scherzer, and naturally you want to go away from it, but man, Max Scherzer is 40 years old. He pitched 57 pitches last time. This Orioles team does not care what right-handed pitcher you throw at him. Garrett Cole, that's fine. We put up 7 against him. Zach Wheeler will beat him up for 8. Luis Gil will put 17 on the Yankees for him. They don't care. And you're taking all 3 of those pitchers over Max Scherzer at this point in his career. Lock and load. Hopefully Adley's in the lineup tonight. This Orioles team is going to absolutely demolish Rangers and this bullpen. I know you're wanting to say something. I'll let you hear in a second. But, man, these O's are about to light up Max Scherzer, send his old ass into retirement. He's too old, Nate. He's Ham's age. If anybody older than Ham cannot be pitching in the major leagues, let's fire up these O's, baby. Don't give me any of these Rangers. These Rangers are trash, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 83 degrees here. Wind kind of blowing from right to left at about 10 miles an hour there in Camden. Overall, a decent hitting park. And I'll never fault you for stacking a team that strikes out under 18% and has a team ISO, all 9 batters over 200. Like I said, they hit home runs, they steal bases. I think you can stack them 1 through 9. I typically don't like stacking against a guy like Scherzer, but hey, Scherzer's at the back half of his career, the tail end of his career here, and it's one of the best offenses all year in baseball. So I definitely agree with you. Gunnar Henderson would be my favorite bat. Again, he is the most expensive. There's another shortstop that I absolutely love here tonight. Surprise, surprise. We'll get to them a little bit later. But like I said, 1 through 9 firmly in play. The top 5 would be my favorite. I don't think they pick up a lot of ownership at all. I mean, the O's are going to be sub 5% ownership, I think, on all of them as a stack in general. Max Scherzer, name recognition does still hold some weight for people going in there, especially hand builders going in there and clicking, and they get to that Baltimore team and they see Scherzer. They're a little bit hesitant to click those names. So I'm with you. O's, I'm playing 2 teams. I probably don't get to the O's, but maybe as a mini stack, sided with my guy Ham here. So I agree with you to an extent. It's just MME, I definitely would have them. I don't know if I get to them in single entry stuff, but again, definitely it's baseball. They're low owned. They fit the mold. They're a good above average offense. Everything checks out there. So I definitely agree with you there. On the Rangers side, for me, I just not going to get to this Rangers team. Corey Seager, you can play him anytime. I mean, he's 5,200, got good numbers. We know what Corey Seager can do. Can definitely be a threat for 2 home runs, 3 home runs in a game anytime. 5,200, but again, shortstop's loaded here tonight. You got Gunnar on the other side there. You got Bobby Witt we're going to talk about. You got other guys on this slate. So for me, Rangers are a cross-off. I'm not getting to them. You could play some of these value guys, right, like Leody Taveras. I don't mind him at 2,700, but realistically, not going to stack the Rangers side. Much would rather stack the Baltimore side with you there, Hamlich. Jump to the next game here. Marcus Stroman, Kikuchi on the mound, 2 real-life pitchers overall, but Stroman on the road this season, 12% strikeout rate, just hasn't been great historically. Don't like playing either of these offense, but the Yankees, again, this season have started to fall into a category of it doesn't matter who they're playing. And Aaron Judge is in a freaking category of his own. Obviously, we know the caliber of player Aaron Judge is. Just hit his 30th home run last night or the night before. I saw he's got a whopping 495 expected ISO on the road this season against left-handed pitching. We know what he is. Juan Soto smashes lefty too. Both of those two bats at 6,100 and 6,700 are going to be extremely low owned. And I think Aaron Judge falls in the category. You can play him any single night. He's almost in the realm of the Ohtani. But for me, neither side of this game comes as a stack. I think Aaron Judge is an elite one-off at probably sub 10% ownership, which you can't say too often with Aaron Judge.
Yeah, Kikuchi's in for could be a rough night for him. Fly ball pitcher facing a fly ball heavy team. Obviously, Judge, Soto, Volpe at the front. My guy, my favorite player, Verdugo, in there as well. I mean, it would be those top four with no Stanton. I mean, I'm not playing the likes of those other folks down there. And then this Blue Jays team beat up the Yankees. I mean, this Yankees bullpen, they're worn out, and Marcus Stroman hasn't been that great this year. I like the top five for this Blue Jays tonight. I mean, they were on a tear last night. Springer went double dong. I like Varsho again tonight. Obviously, Vlad's been hitting it better. They had a good series in Boston those last couple games. So I don't mind these Blue Jays. It's a little Marcus Stroman revenge game tonight. I believe he's a former Blue Jay great, but man, I think this game could get exciting. Could see some fireworks in this one tonight, Nate. Yeah,
looking at Stroman over the last month, I mean, a 13% strikeout rate to righties, 11.5% strikeout rate to both sides of the plate. But where he struggles, power hitting righties, 250 ISO, fly ball rate of 44% here. I haven't looked at the weather in Toronto. Obviously, it's indoors, right? So it doesn't matter. They're in Rogers Center. So, yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, some of these righties, Danny Jansen, I think is great at 4,400. He's hitting 7th at 4,400 at catcher. Nobody's going to play Danny Jansen. He's got a ton of power. I don't mind him. Vladdy at 4.7. That's very cheap for Vlad. And Vlad's been hitting the baseball. I've seen his home runs tick up here. I don't mind the Blue Jays. I just never can get this team right. So I'm not going to 5-man stack Toronto here. I like other offenses more. But I like some of these righties, the power hitting righties, Danny Jansen, Vlad, Bo Bichette, Justin Turner. Hey, even Wiz Khalifa down there. I mean, he's got a fly ball rate over the course of the season against right-handed pitching. He's a fly ball hitter. So I don't hate him. Obviously not a great hitter there, but at 3,100, last spot, shortstop, you need to just fill it. I don't mind a little Kinner Falefo there, which is gross as that sounds, but yeah, don't mind it there. Let's jump to the next game. We're heading out to Chicago. White Sox, Dakota Hudson, Drew Thorpe, two pitchers that I have interest in. I don't love the offense. If I were to pick a spot, it would be kind of stacking against Thorpe here just due to his control issues that he has. The weather, there is weather concerns in this game. It's tagged as yellow right now. Increasingly confident. They just played through a few showers in Chicago. Delay or late start as possible. We'll see how the Raider looks pregame. Roth has it tagged as yellow. I think it's fine. Especially for bats, but I think I'm still rolling out the pitchers in the slate in this game as well. If I had to pick a spot, like I said, it would be the Rocky side, just the guys due to Thorpe's issues that he struggles with control. I'm hoping he gets it figured out here and get some strikeouts. So for me, this game is going to be a cross-off spot in terms of bats for the most part.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, Dakota does give up some fly balls to lefties, so it would be a one-off, cheap piece. Andrew Benintendi hit a home run the other night against the Dodgers. I like Benintendi tonight as a one-off only in this game and nobody else.
Yeah, no, good call it there. 2,800 hit second. Has some power, low strikeouts there. Don't mind that, but yeah, like I said, another game that I don't have a ton of interest in at all from bats. I prefer the pitching in that one. Jumping to the next game here, the Astros headed into New York to face Quintana, Ronel Blanco on the mound. Another game where I have not a lot of interest in at all in terms of bats, and I will be crossing this one off. Obviously, you can always play Yordan as a one-off, Altuve. You got some guys on the Mets, right, like Pete Alonso. You can always play Mark Vientos, who's been absolutely on fire at 3,600. You can always play Mark Vientos at third base if you need a value guy there. But another game for bats perspective that I'm not going to get to.
Yeah, my boy, Michael, shouting out those Tennessee Vols, baby. I don't know if you watched that game. That was an exciting game, fun game to watch. But back to the MLB. Yeah, the Mets, they've been, a month ago, Nades, everybody had written them off. Like they were looking like a little league team out there. They were pretty atrocious, but they've turned it around. And now heading into the Houston to take on this Astros team should be a good series. I don't think I'm going to full stack against Ronel Blanco. I have a little bit of respect for Blanco. Does give up some fly balls, but no thank you there. And then Jake's pounding the table for Quintana in the chat. Man, I can't do Quintana. I did Cookie Carrasco last week, Nades. I don't think I'm doing Jose Quintana this week. This Astro team just too good. Still no Tucker, but they don't strike out enough, and Quintana's not a strikeout pitcher anyway. But yeah, I'm with you. I won't be full stacking either one of these sides. One-offs only, if anything.
Yeah, I agree. We're aligned there. Let's head to the highest owned offense on the slate. It's these Boston Red Sox, and that's because Randy Vasquez is absolutely horrendous to left-handed bats, and you see it there. Boston, top 4 hitters, all from the left. They got 6 of the 9 hitters hit from the left side of the plate. You got Yoshida here hitting 6 at just 3,100. Dom Smith, nice chalky value option at first base. I expect him to be pretty popular. Then you wrap it around to the top. You got Jaron Duran, right? Rafael Devers, who's on a tear right now, 5,700, far too cheap there. He smashes righties, especially at home, and gets a pretty bad one here. Weather in Fenway is pretty decent for hitting conditions as well. Some of the best on the slate. Talk to me. Are you eating the chalk here with Boston? 70 degrees there, slight wind blowing out to left field. I like the lefties like everybody else does here. So for me, I'm in on the Red Sox offense. Padres, I'm going to be underweight on Padres. I respect Pivetta. He's been elite at home, 32% strikeout rate at home. Despite the low strikeout matchup here, I do like him in tournaments like I alluded to when we broke down pitchers.
Yeah, I'm on the fence on these Red Sox, man. I mean, they're so good, but they just don't hit any bombs. I mean, they've hit 7 bombs in the last 2 weeks. It's just tough. They're going to be chalk. I think this is a fade for me, Nades. With the lack of power that they have. I mean, obviously Devers can go yard, but for the most part, they're going to play small ball. Try to get some stolen bases with Duran and Hamilton up there at the top. I'll be fading them, and then I'm with you. No Padres. I like Pivetta enough, and then with no Tatis, it's no Padres for me.
Yeah. We differ a little bit. I don't like the Red Sox as a full 5-man stack just due to their ownership, and like you said, right, they haven't been great. But hey, David Hamilton, it doesn't matter if he hits a home run. He gets on, steals 2 bases, right? You're racking up 10 DraftKings points there just with the 2 stolen bases. If he walks, that's 12 points, right? A walk and 2 stolen bases, 12 points. He doesn't need to hit a home run. So I don't mind that. Duran, right, has a ton of power, will steal bases as well. Devers is my favorite bat by far. Devers is one of my favorite bats on the entire slate. I mean, just let me pull up the numbers here for a second. And this is the reason, right? Boston's going to get a ton of ownership. Vasquez, last 30 days, sub 10% strikeout rate to lefties, a 240 ISO, and a hard hit percentage north of 56%. So that's the reason there. Devers, like I said, my by far my favorite bat there. And I don't actually mind Yoshida. I like the little Devers Yoshida mini stack there. Yoshida hasn't been good. You click that game log, but 3,100 hitting 6th. Historically, he's been a pretty decent power hitter. So I don't mind the Devers Yoshida. This is a 2-man stack because I do think Duran's going to get a ton of ownership. David Hamilton at shortstop at just 4.2 with the stolen base upside is going to get a ton of ownership. Weiler Abreu, 4.1, very, very cheap price point, hitting 3rd. He's been horrible, and I expect him to be one of the most popular bats on the slate. So I prefer the Red Sox more as a mini stack here tonight, personally, is kind of where I'm going with them. And then, yeah, I agree with you. No Padres for me. I'm not even going to play one off. Maybe a Jackson Merrill. He'd probably be my favorite Padre, but I just don't think it's a slate to pick on Pivetta. I actually don't mind Pivetta in tournaments from pitching. Let's get to this next game, a team that I have interest in on one side here. We're going out to Atlanta, hot Atlanta, and it's the Braves. There is weather concerns in this game. Roth has it tagged as yellow, right? Pop-up storms in Atlanta like we typically see a lot. He thinks it's fine, especially for bats. And Martin Perez, making his first start here off the IL. His season numbers on the road this season, sub 14% strikeout rate. Pirates bullpen ranks 25th in the league, I believe, behind Perez, one of the worst bullpens in baseball. Atlanta, I like Atlanta quite a bit here. Sean Murphy, Riley, Ozuna. Give me the power righties first, and then the lefties as stacks around them. Atlanta, one of my favorite offenses on the slate, and I'm not seeing much ownership going to them right now currently.
Yeah, this one's tricky, Nades. The Braves really good against left-handed pitching. Where they struggle against left-handed pitching is with striking out. They strike out a ton, about 25% versus left-handed pitching over the last 30 days. Martin Perez, more of a ground ball pitcher than a strikeout pitcher. So I'm with you. I'm lock and load to these Braves. They're going to be one of my favorite stacks of the night facing this lefty. I think they can tee off on Martin Perez and this Bucks bullpen.
Yeah, it's more of, hey, Braves tag Perez early and then get to that bullpen. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't think Perez is a very good pitcher anyways to start. So Braves, like I said, one of my favorite offenses. I would start with the righties first. Probably my favorite bat on this slate is going to be Sean Murphy, or on this team is going to be Sean Murphy. 3,100, hitting 6, right behind Austin Riley, right? What do we know? Austin Riley, what does he do to left-handed pitching? He absolutely murders it. Everybody knows that. So, hey, Austin Riley's not seeing pitches. Guess who's going to see pitches with runners on base? It's definitely going to be Sean Murphy there. Obviously, Duvall hitting behind him. You get a 2K, absolutely stone minimum shortstop there as well. Luke Williams, if you need the salary there. So, yeah, I definitely like the Braves. Pirates side for me, not going to pick on Morton. I think he's a solid enough real-life pitcher despite his up-and-down nature that he has and could have. Just not going to get to the Pirates on a 13-game slate personally.
And that Braves bullpen, probably one of the best, if not the best, in baseball as well. So, yeah, no Bucks for sure. Yeah.
To address your point in the chat there, Toga, I mean, Atlanta's not looking like a smash spot by any means. I mean, ownership projections have about 7 teams higher right now as a stack than Atlanta. So, quote-unquote smash spot here. I'm not seeing the industry going that way. So that's kind of the reason I'm in on Atlanta. I get it, right? They have failed a lot, but Ozuna, murdering the baseball all season, Riley, Murphy, Duvall. You got 2 cheap shortstops there. You got to pick your choose. I prefer probably just punting all the way down than going to Arcia, saving the $900 there. But yeah, I'm in on them. So it's a 1-day sample. You can't. Hey, what have you done for me lately? I don't care what you've been doing, what you haven't done. I just care what you do tonight, and hopefully they hit the ball over the wall there tonight in Truist Park. Let's head out to my Milwaukee Brewers here. I'm probably going to be driving right past the stadium right around game time here, heading down to Chicago myself. Milwaukee, Taillon on the mound, Colin Ray. Chat got me on some Ray here. Hopefully it doesn't burn me, but no Cubs bats for me. They strike out way too much for me. Team ISO sitting below 150 as well on the road this season. But these Brewers, one of the most aggressive teams in all of baseball. Taillon doesn't strike anybody out, just a 12% strikeout rate on the road this season. Brewers also don't strike out a ton. Joey Ortiz has been one of the best hitters on this team. He's 4K. Don't love the price point there, but he just doesn't strike out. He steals bags. Contreras, Yelich, Adames, Jake Bauers coming off that grand slam. These Brewers got some cheap bats, a ton of power here. I don't mind some of these Brewers. Actually, it's a pretty low-owned offense in general against Taillon here. Little interstate, right up the interstate here, little rivalry. Any Brewers interest for you here tonight?
Yeah, I think it's the lefties for me. You said it. Bauers should be batting 5th. Yelich, Terang, 1-3-5 combo. Mixed in Adames and Contreras. I think you're cooking right there. And then I don't mind picking on Colin Ray, man. I feel like it's been 2 years I've been trashing this dude, but or this will be in the second season. But he's been pretty good, Nades. I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. He's been good, and this Cubs team, you alluded to it earlier, hasn't been the best. I mean, Ray, of course, got lit up last time out, but 22 and 24 before that, and those were both at home as well. So I'm going to look into these Cubs a little bit more, but definitely in on the Brewers, TBD on the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm out on the Cubs, but yeah, I like these Brewers. And like I said, I mean, this fits the script of a very low offense here. I mean, I'm seeing the Brewers as one of the lowest owned offenses on the slate. People are going to click Tyon. They're going to see that game log, and they're going to see him coming there. And the thing I like about the Brewers is, what do? They steal bases. Stolen bases are huge, especially for DFS. That's what we care about. They're one of the most aggressive teams in baseball all season long. Obviously, on the back of Terang, who, if Terang gets on, you better bet. Like, I mean, you throw all your money that he's going to at least attempt, and most of the time going to be pretty successful as long as he gets on first base, that he's going to steal second there. So I like these Brewers quite a bit. Joey Ortiz, probably all things considered, my favorite bet on this team. Third base, 4K. People are going to go up to Devers. People are going to go up at third base. I don't mind living in that mid-tier at 4K with Joey Ortiz. He's been one of the, like I said, one of the best hitters on this team, and then stack around him. Let's head to the next game here. My favorite game on the slate. I'm pretty shocked to see ownership projections not be very high. The Royals team has been very brutal, but who else has been very brutal here? Tristan McKenzie. I don't think he's very good. I still think he's dealing with that elbow, that injury. It's greatest hitting weather on the slate here as well. There is some weather concerns. Models have sped timing of the storms in KC a bit, so I think there's a solid chance here for an in-game delay, which I don't really care about the in-game delay. I'm not playing Marsh. I'm not playing McKenzie. As long as these hitters get to McKenzie early, which I think is the case. I love this game. I like both sides of this game. I actually like some of these lefties as well from the Guardians to target the splits of Alec Marsh. So all things considering, long way of saying this is my favorite game on the slate. There is some weather concerns there, but hot and humid in Kansas City, wind blowing out, good hitters park, good environment, and I'm not seeing ownership following. On the Royals side, Cleveland side is definitely going to pick up a lot of ownership. They're projected to be probably the second highest owned stack behind Boston as things stand right now.
I'm with my guy Landon Nades. I like McKenzie a little bit, but even if he struggles, hey, Cleveland's had one of the best bullpens all season long. You know, if you go into a rain delay, I was all over McKenzie last time out Sunday against the Blue Jays. Struck out 6 in the first 3 innings. Also gave up 3 runs, but struck out 6. Then the rains came and then absolutely clamps on those Blue Jays. So these Royals, Nate, they've struggled tremendously over the last 2 weeks. Not the same team they once were. I like McKenzie a little bit. I'm out on this game. I'm not going to stack the Guardians either. I got a little bit of respect for Marsh.
I'm just saying, I mean, you pull up McKenzie's last 30-day numbers, it's the worst on the entire slate. I mean, a walk rate north of 15%, an expected ISO for opposing hitters north of 340, fly ball rate north of 46%, both sides of the plate. I'm going to take my chances here. And if there's ever a time to jump on a cold Royals team, which, hey, everybody was playing the Royals. The Royals were one of the best offenses in baseball over the first couple of weeks, first month and a half, 2 months. And they were winning me a lot of cheese. They were winning a lot of people a lot of money. This is a spot where I'm jumping on the Royals. They rank very good for me over here. And I hope everyone kind of follows suit with your take. Hey, the Royals have been terrible. They suck. They're horrible. They fell off a cliff. All those things are true, right? And they have been very bad. They've hurt me as of late. But this is a spot. I look at the last month for McKenzie. It's not been good. Fly ball, ton of hard hit, ton of power, walk concerns, low strikeouts. Give me these Royals here. My favorite offense on the slate. Cleveland, I don't love them as a 5-man stack, especially picking up ownership. If it were to go to anyone, it would be the lefties here just to attack the splits there of Marsh. But I like other offenses more. I like the KC side much more in this game as well. So Guardians mini stack only. Josh Naylor, my favorite bat probably on that team. Rochio, I guess, at shortstop. But again, I like those Brave shortstops more than that. So yeah, I think definitely under on the Cleveland side for sure. Let's head to the next game. We got a couple games left to talk about. Still 5 games left. We got Cincinnati here and the Cardinals. Palante, historically a bullpen arm, now thrusted into a starting role, right? St. Louis has struggled with pitching. They've struggled in general all season long. I don't mind these Reds because what do the Reds do? They hit home runs and they steal bases. I like that combo a lot in DFS. I definitely like some of these Reds here tonight. They're going to be decently popular, but again, ownership is going to spread out with 26 teams to choose from. I definitely am in on some of these Reds against Palante. I don't mind it. They steal bases, they hit home runs. So I like the red side. No Cardinals interest realistically for me against Montas.
Yeah, this is a pass for me, Nades. I mean, Palante's going to throw lead balls up there. Red's going to be banging them into the ground all night. And then I don't like Montas, but I think this Cardinals offense not very good either. I think this is a 4-3 type game. I'll be going other places.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good there. Let's head to the next game here. A game that I actually have a decent amount of interest in here. The Angels and the Tigers. Kenta Maeda, Zach Plesac. Plesac has been absolutely horrendous. I think the Tigers, this is a spot where the Tigers, Riley Green is probably my favorite bat on the entire slate. He's in my core over at the Nation, so I'll give everybody here watching a free core play. Riley Green, absolutely love him. Love these Tigers here as a mini stack. Personally, I don't love a 5-man stack. I like other teams more, but I definitely like these lefties quite a bit. Vierling, Riley Green, my two favorite bats for sure from this team. Overall, I do like the spot quite a bit, and I don't mind the Angel side as well. I just don't think Maeda's any good. I saw some talk already in the chat. Jake's on the Maeda side, but again, I just don't like Maeda here. The Angels team, despite not being a great offense, they do still hit for some power at home. So I don't mind this game. I think this game kind of pops off as one of the lower owned spots that could definitely be on the winner. And I prefer the Tiger side personally.
Man, two bad pitchers, two teams that you just got to hold your breath and hope they can, score 10 runs. I don't think they can, Nades. I mean, everybody, I know it was a short slate last night, but it was all over the Tigers, I feel like, and some guy that no one's ever heard of at $5,500 would absolutely shut them down. I think it's more of the same. Zach Plesac, Dan Plesac. I don't care what Plesac you throw out there is garbage. But, man, this Tigers team is brutal. This Angels team was brutal, obviously, as well. Kenta Maeda's brutal, Nate. So I'm out, though. I think we can find better offenses, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm out on this game.
Yeah, so we differ there. Like I said, I like this game. I like both sides. And, yeah, I'll take my chances. I like these Tigers. Like I said, Riley Green, probably one of my favorite bats, if not my favorite bet on the entire slate there. So, Tam versus Nades again, back to our old ways, and that's usually ends up pretty good for me. So I'm liking where this is going. I'm on this game. Ham's off this game. We'll see how it turns out. Speaking of a game that we're off, or I'm off, is this next game, Bailey Ober, Logan Gilbert. If I had to pick a side, it would be more the Mariners offense against Bailey Ober. I just don't want to pick on Gilbert. Gilbert's been elite at home. This Twins team has been hot, but realistically, a spot I'm not going to get to any of these offenses. I just don't love it. Maybe the lefties against Ober. Like I said, on the Mariners, Ober struggles with some fly balls to left-handed batters. Luke Raleigh, Cal Raleigh, maybe some of those guys can zone. At 3,300, but again, there's much better spots in my opinion than going to this game. So don't love it, but talk to me here. Any bats in Seattle?
Yeah, one bat that I have interest in would be Royce Lewis. Gilbert striking out 20% of righties compared to 30% of lefties. Obviously, Royce Lewis, a great player, should be batting third tonight. He's expensive, but he's a one-off, and Royce Lewis, it would be the only play that I'm interested in.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. Let's jump to the next game here. One of the most expensive or highest owned, pitchers on the slate at one of the cheapest price points. I think this is the chalk SP2. I think his projection comes in even higher than what projection models are showing right now across the industry. Slade Sassoni on the mound, JP Sears on the mound, D-backs, Athletics. If I were to go to a side, it'd be some of these Athletics more as a mini stack. I like me some Rooker. I like me some Soderstrom. I like me some Langeliers. I don't mind that as a 3-man stack there at very low ownership against a chalk pitcher who I don't think is a very good pitcher by any means. It's not the greatest park to hit at, but Rooker's been hitting the ball. Soderstrom's been smashing home runs. Langeliers has been hitting all season long. I don't mind those three guys right there. I'm not going to 5-man stack Oakland by any means here, but I do like that built-in double leverage against a pitcher who's going to be popular that I don't think is very good in general. And then the D-backs on the other side against JP Sears. Sears has been terrible on the road this season. D-backs have been decent at home. Ketel Marte, Gurriel, Grichuk, Christian Walker, who obviously smashes left-handed pitching as well. Gurriel smashes left-handed pitching. I don't mind some D-backs minis either in this spot as well.
Yeah, we're in lockstep in this one. I mean, this game should pop off. I mean, I'm with you. Ciccone, Sassoni, however you want to say his name. I mean, he's given up a 38% fly ball rate to lefties, a 34% fly ball rate to righties. This A's team, man, they're gonna smack the ball around tonight. This kid's not any good, giving up tons of contact. And then on the other side, JP Sears should face 8 righties on top of the fat Corbin Carroll, who, like you said, is going to get stolen bases if he gets on. Randall Grichuk, lefty masher. Hey, this game should be popular, not going to be popular, Nades, but should pop off tonight, in my opinion. Should see plenty of runs in this one.
Yeah, I'm aligned. We're aligned. That is one game we're aligned on. I actually like I said, that Tigers-Angels game and that Oakland-Arizona game as two of my sneakier games on the slate that I don't think a lot of people go to, and could see some runs coming from both sides of those games. Last game that I don't have a lot of interest in, it's Friday night. It's not going to be a Friday night Dodgers spot for me. Logan Webb, solid enough real-life pitcher. I don't mind him as a GPP. Pivot off of Charlie Morton, off of Gilbert, off of Ober. He's sandwiched between all three of those guys who are going to be the chalk at the top range for pitchers. But it's pretty scary going up against this Dodgers team. Obviously, you can play Ohtani any slate, but at 6.9 on the slate, man, that's expensive. I would rather play an Aaron Judge, to be honest with you, for $400 cheaper there. This is going to be a spot where I'm not getting to for any bats here. Not a great park, very cold. One of the lowest totals on the slate. This is going to be a spot where I'm off of bats here.
Yeah, I agree with you. We just don't stack what I call Candlestick Park. I don't even know what the name of the park is anymore, Nate, but we're not stacking out there. Barry Bonds is retired. No Mookie Betts. Got some respect for Logan Webb, so I'm out on this game as a full stack. You said you can always one-off an Ohtani, Freeman Smith, but it's tough to score runs in bunches here, so I'm out on a full stack in this one.
I agree. We're aligned there to round out the slate. It's Friday night. We're going to try and get back on the horse here with our home run calls before we kick it into the weekend. Hopefully, we head into our Saturday for day baseball and night baseball, the full slate of baseball, with more money in our balance, in our pockets, in our bank accounts. Throw it over to you, man. Who's your home run call of the evening?
I'm gonna go north of the border tonight, batting second. I'm gonna go Spencer Horwitz for the Blue Jays to take Marcus Stroman deep.
Good call. I like that call. I'm giving 2 for the people. Going back to my roots. Number 1, my favorite offense of the slate. Tristan McKenzie's been absolutely horrible the last month. I'm going to a value bat, a value lefty, MJ Melendez, getting back on his high horse. 3,500. He's hitting one deep in Kauffman Stadium. And then I'm going to another lefty on a different team. One of my favorite bats of the entire slate, Riley Green, 4,900, taking Plesac deep there in Anaheim, not LA, in Anaheim for our boy in the chat there. That's going to do it for this Witching Hour show here, brought to you by SHIPIT Nation. Again, if you guys could, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on playback, or if you're in the chat and have not done that, helps us out a ton. If you are not a member, you want access to my core plays, our slate plan, our premium projections, the stone for all sports, everything you need to have success with DFS. One last time, FGWC 15 in honor of Hoop and Tambo competing right now over the weekend in the PGA tournament for $1 million. Get you that promo code, get you 15% off. But for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. We will be back on Monday. We'll catch you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Peace.